Hey everybody, Brian here for Work to Game Videos, and today we're talking about the jumping potion. So Yoshi-P on the Final Fantasy XIV forums, I don't know why I'm pointing in that direction, apparently they're over here on my left, uh, wrote up a really long post regarding the jumping potion. And so for those of you who might not know what a jumping potion is or isn't, essentially it's at its core concept, it's the ability to auto level up to a particular point in the game. So most MMOs, especially after several expansions, typically introduce this because there'll be new players who want to come in and check out the game but don't have to spend so much time working their way through all the previous content in the game. So like it or hate it, we're going to talk about it here today and kind of break down basically what he says in his posts, give my personal opinions on it, and then hopefully engage with you guys on the on the comments below on what you guys think, because I'd also encourage you guys to go read the article. I'll try to include the link in the comments, sorry, in the description below, so that way you can go and give your feedback, positive or negative, either way. But hopefully, hopefully it will work out in the best way possible for everybody. So with that, jumping potion also allows you from a story perspective to jump. And so with Final Fantasy XIV, it looks like, and especially Yoshi-P is going to detail this here when we start going through his content, that there is the ability to jump through the story and basically mark quests as completed, as well as because you can play every pretty much class or job on one character, the ability to auto level up a particular job. And so obviously right now they pay for that, and this has actually been already implemented in China and Korea and those markets. It just hasn't been brought to what they call the global market, which would be United States, Japan, and Europe. So with that, he starts his post with the intentions behind implementing the jumping potion. So he says, the main reason we decided to implement a jumping potion was to make it easier for new players to catch up with the rest of the community. It's been over 3 years since we launched Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn, and once Stormblood is released, in order for new players to catch up to the existing players, they would have to complete the main quest for both A Realm Reborn and for Heavensward, level up their job to 60, and then collect the appropriate gear. Personally, I like that the story continues from expansion to expansion, acts both as time passing, but kind of thinking about that gear grind, and outside of them feeding gear from the quests, it can always be quite a challenge. Anyway, he continues. For example, if we were, if I, for example, if I was to attempt to convince my friend to play Stormblood, the obvious response would be, even if I wanted to, I wouldn't. It would be impossible to catch up if I was to start now. While I'll do my best to make sure my friend can catch up as soon as possible, I would still like to enjoy the existing content and make sure I don't fall behind myself. At this point, I would feel like there's a limit to how much I can help. If my friend was bumped up to level 60, then I can help them level up even further, go through the main story, and enjoy Stormblood with my friend while leveling up one of my additional jobs. Simply put, this is the main intention of implementing a jumping potion. So I've actually been in this situation. I've had friends come in, and when Heavensward was dropping, either before or after, and I've taken time to help them out. They're my friends. It's fun to play with them. And I've made this argument also on the Aetheryte Radio podcast, where we were kind of talking about this after E3. It's like, hey, imagine, hey, the Feast just dropped with 3.2. This was, in the spring, earlier this year. And it's like, well, this is great. It's a lot of fun. And if you're interested in joining me, well, you need to go play pretty much through two solid RPGs. Like they're really good. I think I enjoy the story. I'm biased, but at the end of the day, it's like, hey, you got to play a lot of content to come play this content with me. And so it's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask of anybody, especially who might not have a lot of time. It's one of the reasons why I like to stay current, because when you think about it, when you think of the course of 3 years, but even with 1.0 to now, it's like it's been a long time, and I've enjoyed my time with the game. But every time new content drops, to get to it, it's actually it's shorter for me than somebody who was like, well, yeah, I wasn't interested in 2.0, or maybe it was just not the right time for me, but now it is, and now it's like, yeah, you got years worth of of what we've been spending in the game. Can you condense that really quickly? And so they've done a good job. They've added, made it easier for people to level up and things like that. But anyway, we'll continue. Okay, so Yoshi-P then goes on and says, including the free trial, we are seeing several thousand new players play Final Fantasy XIV every day. While Final Fantasy XIV might be one of those games where new players can catch up to the top end players relatively easy, not everyone has a lot of free time to spend with a game. A lot of people enjoy gaming as much as they can with their limited time while trying to manage their busy lives. While people will be able to catch up even easier after the release of Stormblood, with the adjustments they're planning to make to the amounts of experience points obtained, it still will require a lot of time to reach the starting point of Stormblood. If an MMORPG is not able to recruit new players, all that is left for the game to stabilize and eventually go on the decline. At the moment, that type of operation of the game would shift from one that works hard to slow down the pace of decline. To prevent the game from reaching that point, we would like to prepare as much as we can for the potential new players that will be interested with the game. Furthermore, due to the armoring system in Final Fantasy XIV, players are able to experience all the classes and jobs that are available on a single character. While there are a lot of players that have every class and job leveled up that way, there are also players that only have the time to level up one job. We believe that the jumping potion would be an incentive to try other classes and jobs. Additionally, players would not have to worry as spending much time leveling and focusing on gearing up their alternative class job by visiting existing content and ultimately increase their clear rate of the existing content. It would also make it easier for players that stop playing the game to come back and enjoy the new content. These potions are currently implemented in the Chinese and Korean versions of the game, but not the global version. Online games are particularly huge in China and Korea, and this type of service is provided commonly among online games releasing in those regions. We implemented the service with the Chinese and Korean versions of the game to make sure that the game can stay competitive in their online gaming markets. Additionally, the service is recently becoming much more popular in MMORPGs released in North America and Europe. Please note that I have only mentioned the positives of the potion in the explanation because we were specifically going over the original intentions with regard to implementing the feature. So this, I think, pretty much sums up on the positive. So he will talk about the negative here in a bit. So I know, especially somebody who might be like, there's so many bad players and all that. We're going to cover that. What he thinks about that here in a bit, and then again, like I said, we will talk about my kind of thoughts overall. So then he breaks down the various types of jumping potions, because again, Final Fantasy XIV is a game that you can play multiple jobs on. So you have kind of the story clear, and then you have the job level up system. So he talks about multiple types of jumping potions. So we'll go ahead and kind of cover those now. While often referred to as a jumping potion, there are actually separating the two different potions that have two different effects. So what is said, I would first like to define what they are and clarify the main points that will be discussed. So there's the first one, which is the story skip potion. This is a potion that will allow you to complete the progress of the main story, and it will be a shortcut through the main scenario. This is currently on sale in the Chinese and Korean versions of the game, and under the name Adventuring Records of a Realm Reborn. By purchasing this item and using it, it allows you to automatically clear through the main scenario quest of patch 2.55 before the dawn. I'll speak more on the specifics of how this works below. Furthermore, we're in the midst of developing the Adventure Records of Heavensward, this item in the Chinese and Korean versions. This is also a potion that will allow you to clear the main scenario quest through the end of patch 3.5 part 2. To compare this to a television series, Season 1 is A Realm Reborn, Season 2 is Heavensward, and the newest expansion, Stormblood, will be Season 3. With this potion, you'll be watching the memoirs of Season 1 and 2 from an end, and then actually watching Season 3. So you will be participating in Season 3 while you can go catch up on previously on Final Fantasy. I wonder if they'll do that, or if it's just a matter of using your book to kind of queue up the quests. Naturally, you will have to actually watch the latest season. So the shortcut will only allow you to skip through to the end of the previous season. So then the other type of potion is the job jump potion. This is the job leveling potion that can be applied towards a single job. We prepared the potions on a job to job basis, such as adventuring records of paladin, adventuring records of warrior, so that it's not the case that you'll be able to use a single potion to instantly max out all your jobs. By purchasing and using the potion, the respective job will jump up to level 50. When Stormblood goes on sale, these will be upgraded. The potion will jump you up to the job to level 60. And we plan to eliminate the current level 50 potion. Furthermore, at the moment, we also distribute weapons at a certain item level to go with this, as well as multiple silver chocobo feathers, which can be exchanged for item level 130 equipment of your choosing. This will equip your job with the minimum equipment needed. With this potion, the player will have to experience the main scenario for themselves, so that the main usage would be for those people who want to increase their level to the previous level cap and or level up additional jobs a bit more efficiently. There are no potions for Machinist, Dark Knight, or Astrologian, since these require the expansion, and we're still discussing whether we will add them with the release of Stormblood. We've already decided that we will not be including the potions for the new jobs that we're implementing with Stormblood. This is based off the core principle that we want players to level the new jobs themselves. So I actually kind of like that. I hope they do implement the job jumping potion for Dark Knight, Astrologian, and Machinist with the expansion, but I do like that with the new expansion with Stormblood, the new jobs, they would not include those. I think that sounds like a relatively fair approach. Otherwise, I think players might feel that when the expansion drops that they have to go and buy a job jump potion just so they can hit that goal. Like especially YouTubers, myself, Mr. Happy, all the ones producing content on Final Fantasy 14. There would definitely be like that kind of incentive, like, oh man, like I can be the first to have a video out on level 60 red mage. It's like, well, then you're putting money into it, and it kind of becomes that pay to win model in that case. Now for jobs that have been out for a while, I kind of support that. I'm interested in your thoughts below, but we'll get more into that in a bit. Okay, so here he breaks down the details on how the jump potions are going to work. So based on the above, I'd like to take a moment to explain in detail how the two potions will work for the Korean and Chinese versions of the game. So the story skip potion, the Adventurer's Records of a Realm Reborn. So you have two requirements for actually being able to buy this item. One, you must have an active service account and have a character created. And two, your account must be paying the monthly subscription fee. So free trial accounts are not eligible to buy this. Only when fulfilling the two requirements can the potion be purchased via the MOG station, and the item will be delivered via MOG letter, so that you will have access to, so you have to also be able to access a delivery Moogle to get the item. When using the potion, the following things will occur. So this is the Adventurer Records. This is the story skip. 1. The quest before the fall will be set as cleared, and you will be able to undertake the main scenario quest coming to Ishgard. 2. You'll be automatically join the Grand Company of your starting city at the lowest rank. 3. You'll automatically be given a personal chocobo, and a generic name is going to be given to it. Number 4. All Aether Rights for a Realm Reborn will be unlocked. Number 5. All dungeons implemented up to patch 2.55 will be set as cleared. Number 6. The Unending Journey, which will be used at ends and such, will be entirely unlocked for everything that was completed. And number 7. Unlock quests for the minimum required features will be set as cleared. So obviously, it doesn't sound like everything that was in 2.55 and earlier will be cleared. Just the minimum features, the dungeons, and it seems like they said all dungeons, and then obviously like the main scenario, etc. Anyone who has yet to clear before the dawn is able to use the potion, even if you've stopped playing while you were progressing through the main scenario. Like, for example, patch 2.4, the potion will yield the same effect. However, if you already belong to a Grand Company and or have a chocobo, your existing status will take priority over the potion's effect. Additionally, since it will be possible to use the Unending Journey, you will be able to experience the portions of the story that were skipped in a digest format. In order to make it possible for each of the different roulettes, the dungeons for A Realm Reborn are set as cleared. While there is a difference between the item price in China and Korea, the potions is around 2,500 Japanese yen right now, which, obviously exchange rates aside, who knows what they'll end up doing, but that would equate to about $21, US currency, etc. So they're not cheap. Okay, job jump potions. The adventures records of Paladin. So he's going to use the Paladin as example. So the requirements are you must have an active service account and you've created a character, and then the account must be paying the monthly subscription. So the requirements are the same for both the job jump and the story skip. Only when fulfilling the above requirements can you purchase the potion, and it's going to deliver it via letter. So here are the 7 effects that the job jump potion is would apply. So for Paladin in this case, 1, Paladin space class Gladiator will become level 50. The secondary class required for Paladin Conjurer will become level 15. A sword of a certain item will be distributed, item level 120 for the Korean version. Paladin's Jobstone will be distributed. The job quest for Paladin will be cleared up to level 50, so the actions will also be given. The item that an item worth roughly 300,000 gil that cannot be traded will be distributed as funds for equipment. And number 7, multiple Chocobo silver feathers will be distributed, which can be exchanged for equipment. So when you use this potion, there are no restrictions as it only being able to use it on your starting class. And we made it so that the job quests are completed so that you are ready to battle at level 50. By exchanging the silver Chocobo feathers, you are able to procure the minimum required gear of your choosing. Nothing else will happen other than the above. So this potion can boost your job level and be enjoyed on the main scenario. You can think of this as starting a new game as a stronger character, since there is the level sync feature in each of the dungeons and trials. You'll be able to learn the job while you progress through the story as well. Having separate job potions is something unique to Final Fantasy XIV. This is because the requirement to change the specific job and the necessary equipment for each job is different per job. And also because leveling all jobs at the same time with a single potion is too much of a shortcut. Similar to the story skip potion, this is about 2,500 Japanese yen per job. For the Korean version, there is also a story skip potion and a job jump potion set. And this is an option sold only for new players and returners as a starter pack. So, again, roughly, 20, 21 bucks for this. So if you think of the number of jobs and trying to do this, that would be very, very pricey when it comes down to it. So not necessarily like, hey, just, slap me, put $1 in my hand and and you're level 60. So yeah, that's I like that it feeds you with the gear. I like that it's also by job, so you pick it, because we were wondering like, well, would it work? Like, would you get a potion and then you like have to be on the job to get it? So it sounds like you're saying, all right, I want to buy an auto level for that. I like that they also have a bundle option for the kind of for Korean. I think they should include that as well. I'm wondering how that kind of would work, where it's like, okay, story, story and Paladin, story and White Mage or something like that. So anyway, it seems like they have it pretty well detailed out what it does. So what's going to change here kind of in those markets with Stormblood, and so what they're trying to figure out. So as they stated previously, the specifics mentioned above for the potions are in the Chinese and Korean versions of the game. We decided that the potions will change in the following ways in both versions when Stormblood launches. The story potion will become the adventuring records of Heavensward, and we're currently discussing whether or not to keep the adventures records of A Realm Reborn. And personally, I think they should, at least from the story skip perspective. You could choose whether you wanted just to clear ARR or if you wanted to clear both. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what that does. Upon using the adventurous records of Heavensward, players will be able to complete the main scenario quest up to patch 3.2 part, 3.5 part 2, as well as then accepting the initial main quest for Stormblood. The adventuring records of Heavensward can only be purchased with the player who's registered the copy of the Heavensward expansion, and players would be able to boost one job to level 60 with the job jump potion as opposed to level 50. So they're going to remove the level 50 job jump potion altogether. The gear that the players will receive will be changed to level 60 gear and the corresponding job upon the purchase of the job jump potion. We are still discussing whether to add potions for Machinist, Dark Knight, and Astrologian, and if we want to keep the Adventuring Records of a Realm Reborn option. The other points will be so they'll be sure to update us once the details are finalized. So, summarization this up to now. So the couple kind of cases that they kind of give is that somebody who wants to catch up with friends who are already playing, so you'd get a story skip and a job jump. And so then, pretty much they're then talking about 5,000 yen, which is about $40. So it's like you buying the game, you're paying the sub, and you're paying like kind of a fee there in that regards. Case number 2, well, you just really want to kind of progress through the story efficiently. Well, then you just kind of pick up the job jump potion and just play through the story. And then case number 3, for those who just want to enjoy leveling, you complete, you pick up the story skip, but you don't get a job jump. So you're just kind of hurting yourself. Like, hey, I'm level 5 and I've cleared all the story. So I don't think that they feed you the experience for completing that. So it might be difficult in that scenario. So anyway, interested in if I'm misreading that as well. So here he goes into the presumed negative effects. And this is kind of where I think, some of the arguments that I've read from players, they kind of feel that. So the gap between a player's skill between an existing player and new players is kind of the big point he puts here. I believe the point majority of the players are most worried about is the part where you may expect to see more players who may not be used to their rotations. However, looking over the data collected from the Chinese and Korean versions, most of these players who have purchased the potions are those who are familiar with online gaming or those who play with the support from their friends. If we look at the number of players who fall within the below criteria and calculating the percentage from data obtained after the start of the jumping potion sales, he has 3 kind of key points. Have just started playing, have activated their account, i.e. paid subscription fees, and have purchased one of the job jumping potions. At that, they've seen only about 27 to 29% of Korean and Chinese players making a potion purchase. When purchasing potions, a great number of players, when purchasing potions, the players made the purchase once they were familiar with the game after leveling to level 30 through the free trial with their active account. So it seems like between 27 and 30, pretty much 30% on average probably, purchased the potion once they kind of completed their free trial and they were already around level 30. And so with that data, it shows that they are not many instances of completely new players purchasing them. I'm not saying that it's non-existent, but it's much lower than the worst case scenario that's being assumed. However, once we begin the service of Stormblood, we can assume that many players will be jumping into Heavensward, and these players will join at level 60, leading to a short period of time where there may be a large skill gap between existing and new players. There were about 20 to 21% of those who purchased the story jump potions along with the above conditions, from those who have purchased the job jump potions. It looks like there is a good amount of players who want to experience the main scenario for themselves. Additionally, from those who have purchased the potions, we can see that over 50% of the players that have been playing longer than 3 months, Additionally, for those who have purchased the potions, we can see over 50% of the players who have been playing longer than 3 months. Therefore, the potions are either helping motivate these players or being purchased by players with high motivation. So, one of the two. Feeling of buying experience with money. For those who have never used these type of jump potions, you may have this type of feeling towards this matter. Also, some may misunderstand that this is pay to win. However, the measures were put in place to have the players in the current to get to the current standard. Therefore, it isn't to hurt everyone's play experience or time spent until now. It is in place to further expand the community. With that said, we understand the feeling may not go away from some players, so please be sure to leave your feedback. In summary, while I personally have a positive outlook in regard to implementing the implementation of these potions, I am still worried. However, I predict that we will end up introducing this service at some point between the release of Stormblood and the expansion pack that comes after. The current trend in the gaming market is for games to be easily accessible, played in short periods of time, and played and stopped whenever the player wants. This is the exact opposite, really, of an MMORPG scene. I am not saying that we want to make MMORPGs follow this trend. However, our job is to bolster operations so that as many new players as possible are able to play with everyone. Please read through the post and leave your feedback. The decision and responsibility will be mine, and not Brian's, but Yoshi-P's. Surprise, secret developer. But please let us know how you feel about this. If you have any questions, be sure he'll be sure to leave those in the post as well, and he'll be following up. Okay, so all in all, I am actually a fan of having this system. I don't need it. I do have another character, and so if they do implement it, I probably will actually be doing that, purchasing it just to bring up another character in to that level, just for fun, I guess for the sake of role playing or for the sake of just whatever. But I do know a lot of players. I have a lot of friends that run into that situation, and so I've got friends that never came back with Heaven's Word. I have friends that have, but the kind of the idea is like they've been asking, like, well, if when Stormblood drops, if there's that option, they definitely consider coming back and picking up from where they left off. But maybe they don't want to work their way through Heaven's Word, or maybe they will. But it's not necessarily just the main story. Like if you think about with the increased XP, it does come with the expanded story, etc. So it's the patch 3.1 through 3.55 etc. that's going to get you now. I think the issue and the fear of the skill gap is understood, but at the end of the day, that's what a roulette is for. It's like, at least here, in America, we have a concept that when you queue up for a roulette, you don't know what you're going to get. Interestingly enough, and I believe I've been told this, but in the Japanese markets, it's opposite. You use Party Finder for when you're new, and then you use, I think, the roulette when you know what you're doing. And maybe that's a better system to lower kind of the stress. But the problem I think comes into it is that the fear of getting that unknown or having that unknown really drag you down. Nobody likes to get into a roulette that when you can typically clear in 20-25 minutes. It's faster if you're all knowing what you're doing and well geared. Turning that into 45 and 50. I think everybody's had that experience, and it's understand. I know Palace of the Dead gives a lot of people that kind of fear, like, hey, you leveled up all the way through it, but you really don't know how to play your role. And so I completely understand that. I don't think the jumping potion is to blame. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's going to make that situation worse. I think essentially that falls actually on Yoshi-P and the developers to then incentivize some type of system that says, hey, might want to complete this. And so Yoshi-P talked about kind of the intermediate hall. So they have the beginner's hall, and hopefully maybe we'll see that with the release of Stormblood. Maybe that we'll learn more about that here at the upcoming FanFest. But for the most part, I think being able to let a player kind of experience that, to incentivize that, is the case. Now, some of the numbers they give is really interesting. So it's that he finds that the majority of people who purchase the potions are actually motivated players. And that's, I think, kind of the key differentiating fact, right? So that if you're motivated to play, you're motivated to learn how to play. And so this just helps you get, especially over that gap, because we see that you can have all the motivation in the world. I've played with players, and right around those 30s and 40s, like, you're putting a lot of time and you're excited, but then that excitement starts to wane, and so you might end up taking that break. And so this could be a way to kind of get over that hurdle and get them into that exciting content. Yoshi-P gave an interview, and that I kind of talked about it for like Game Focus, and he was talking about the first kind of half of the game is not exciting, and they're looking at ways of trying to address that. And that's the biggest challenge. Sometimes it's like you can see videos, you can go on YouTube, you can go see that like, oh man, that looks like a fun fight, and look at the rotations. A number complaint I see, people want a faster battle system and things of that nature, and it's like we could debate that all we want, but there's still that hurdle that people have to get over. And especially, I think for me, there's kind of that selfish perspective. It's like I want to be able to encourage my friends to come check out the game. I'm really hoping that this last line is that whether they implement it with Stormblood or at some point after, I think I think it should come with at least the release, so that way, because we should be seeing an uptick of new players. Like, hey, I'm going to pick up the bundle pack. It's going to have ARR, Heavensward, and Stormblood all bundled together. Not confirmed, but pretty much you could assume that. And so that, hey, they let me go ahead and I'm going to jump into Stormblood. Yeah, they're going to learn, but if they're motivated, that I think makes the big difference. I think that solves the issue of them not knowing, because they're going to go and find the answers. Yes, there's a risk of running into a player who doesn't know or care, and I think that's the thing. I think it's they don't care to go learn. How to play effectively, and that's what I think leaves people's that sour taste that gives them that stress, right? And to that, like, okay, I'm with you. I would just recommend, probably, especially let's say it is with the release of Stormblood that this is introduced. Perhaps let's go ahead and just use a lot more Party Finder. I'm sure that with the Cross-World Party Finder, yeah, great. Cross-World Party Finder system. I would probably, we'll probably see a lot more options to be able to join various content there as well. Hopefully bolstering the community and encouraging more, conversation, as opposed to just the randomness of roulette. So anyway, that being said, the one thing I would like to see, obviously besides them having this with Stormblood, is also to have a bundle option for the story and the job potion, so that when the player goes and creates it, when they buy the game, they can buy a digital deluxe whatever of the 3 expansions with the job jump and the story skip, and just for one price, as opposed to getting that and be like, okay, now I got to go spend additional money. From a budgetary perspective, this is me, it's like, what's it going to cost, as opposed to saying, well, it's going to cost 60 for the game, and then it's going to cost another 40 to get the potions. And hopefully we'll see them offering some bundling options as well, because I think it would just make sense. So this is obviously wrapping up the video here. So I'm interested in your thoughts, in your opinions, actually more or less than on my comments, because I would love to have that conversation with you. I would encourage you to be able to go out and check out the forum post and leave feedback if you so choose to. I want to encourage everybody to do that, whether you agree with me or not. That is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So I would just encourage everybody to do that if they haven't already. Anyway, but if you want to have a conversation, be interested in your thoughts below. If there was anything I missed, or if there's something I'm just not thinking about, just let me know. But otherwise, this is Work to Game Videos. I'm Brian. I really thank you so much for watching. I hope you like and subscribe and all that. I know a lot of YouTubers are putting that at the front of the videos, but you know what? I'm just going to leave it at the end, because if you're still here, I really hope you liked it. So anyway, until next time, y'all have a great day.